Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The F1 Academy series launched to very little acclaim in Austria last weekend, and you'll be forgiven for missing it because it wasn't broadcast anywhere. They did release a 10-minute highlight package of all three races 2 days after the event with full commentary, which means they filmed the races and added the commentary and still didn't bother releasing the full races. My first thought was maybe they had a broadcast deal and there were legal reasons for not broadcasting these races. But according to the F1 Academy website, you can stay up to date with everything happening in the F1 Academy paddock with our round by round highlights program, which includes race footage and exclusive behind the scenes content from our drivers and teams. So we have a brief highlights package that we are going to fill with other stuff, leaving very few minutes for the actual racing. Why not throw in some stock footage of women in overalls showing their guns? The 15-minute programme will be made available to all F1 Academy rights holding broadcasters by the Wednesday following race events. You'll also be able to watch the programme on F1 TV and F1 Academy and F1's social media channels. Well, it did come out before Wednesday, but it was only 12 minutes long, so that 15 minutes was either an outright lie, or they didn't think there was enough action to fill out 3 more minutes. On a Monday, following the race weekend, a race highlights video will be made available across F1 Academy and F1 social media channels, YouTube and F1 TV. Across the race weekend, you can also follow the official F1 Academy Twitter channel for live multimedia updates from the track, including text commentary, imagery, clips from the race, and post-race interviews from our drivers. Meanwhile, over on Instagram, we'll be providing live updates of the event through our stories. So it was meant to come out Monday. So what's coming out on Wednesday? The same thing with a few more minutes? Will it be filled with Abby Pulling baking a pie in the 1950s style kitchen? And I flat out refuse to spend the whole weekend waiting for updates on Twitter. I only do that for Freddie Lubin, at Lubin Frederick. I can't understand why they won't show these races anywhere. If you're going to the effort of filming them anyway, even race series like the Alpine Elf Europa Cup and TCR Eastern Europe are on YouTube. But the race series for women, giving them a leg onto the Formula 1 ladder, now don't be silly, you don't want to watch that. Considering the W Series died so recently the body is still warm, you'd think the FIA would do everything possible to make the F1 Academy different from its deceased cousin. Well, they have made it a lower formula. Instead of the Formula 3 equivalent Tartus Alfa Romeo, instead we have Formula 4 cars. As a lot of these women are moving over from the W Series, they are theoretically at least taking a step backwards in their careers. Even if they do well here, there is no guarantee they will progress, which was a huge problem for the W Series as well. Jamie Chadwick was in a league of her own, and yet she raced in the W Series every year of its existence, no matter how successful she was. One improvement is the women in the F1 Academy are racing for actual teams: Prema, Carlin, MP Motorsport, ART and Campos. So they are gaining track experience, testing miles and building useful connections. Do well and all these teams have Formula 3 cars available. But because the races aren't broadcast, sponsors have to go out of their way to see these women race, and the lack of exposure could be a hurdle to getting important cash behind you in the future. So what is the solution? Well, first off, broadcast the races for free on YouTube and on the day they happen at least, if not live. Not a big ask as you're filming them anyway. Next, advertise the F1 Academy during Formula 1 broadcasts. Show some of the racing and have your pundits talk about it. You have Naomi Schiff, who raced in the W Series. Get her to do a 5-minute segment about the virtues of the F1 Academy. Another issue with the F1 Academy is that these ladies are paying a fair sum to have the honour of racing in the series. Apparently as much as €150,000. When you consider the W Series was free to enter, it doesn't seem like a great deal. I mentioned another series the other day, Euro Formula, that is struggling with grid size issues. Why couldn't they just combine the two? Euro Formula is organised by GT Sport, and Formula 1 management run F1 Academy. But surely the FIA, who sanctioned both series, could put some kind of deal together, putting more cars on the grid in Euro Formula, and allowing the ladies of the F1 Academy to race at an equivalent Formula 3 level. From where it is now, it feels like it's going to run into the same issues as the W Series, with the main one being a lack of progression up the single-seater ladder to Formula 1. Maybe add in a prize where you get a year in a Formula 1 team's driver academy. Again, it's something I'm sure the FIA could organise. Some of these women are very good drivers. The Alcabaisi sisters have been around for a while, and both have won races in Formula 4. Marta Garcia won a race in the W Series, whilst Emily de Haas, Megan Gilks, Nerea Marti and Bianca Bustamante all raced in that ill-fated series. Carrie Schreiner is a very experienced GT and touring car racer, but the two that stand out most to me are Abby Pulling, who was very good in the W Series, and the one most likely to get to Formula 1 based on talent, and Jessica Edgar, who is very young but performed well in GB3 in 2022 and did okay in Austria. Everyone else, and a lot of the ones mentioned here frankly, are of a much lower standard, mostly due to inexperience, and this series should represent a chance for them to show a little something. And yet sadly, I have doubts they'll get a chance. Before W Series even began, it was considered controversial, with some saying it was pushing women to the side. I said the only way that series could ever be considered successful is if someone made it into Formula 1 eventually. Now, whilst Jamie Chadwick is in the Williams Academy, she doesn't seem to have made much progress up the Formula 1 career ladder and has now been exiled to America. But this series has to be judged by the same standards. The women who do well here need to progress to Formula Regional, Formula 3, Formula 2 and then finally Formula 1. It's not going to happen. The F1 Academy is a joke. So they are my thoughts on the second all-female single-seater racing series to exist within the last 4 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this series is a good thing, or is this hurting the careers of female race drivers? The World Endurance Championship has been a lot kinder to female racers in recent years. Maybe Formula 1 should look at how they do it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like and tell your friends. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.